What's up, Dad?
What's up, Dad? What's up? What's up, Dad? What's up?
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We have Anthony Starks here with us on the What's Up Dad podcast. This is going to be exciting. We got a good one today. This guy come on and asked me, he goes, are we recording this like video wise? And I'm like, dang, I'm in my pajamas still. Hadn't even got up and got going. He's got this lion in the background. So I hope that if you get to watch his video that I'm going to send to him, you give me a little bit of grace. All right. I just need a little bit of grace today on that aspect. I was not primped and ready today. This dude is looking sharp and I'm excited. I really highly love the ones where last week I got catfish. This week I've never met Anthony before. I've never talked to him, know nothing about him other than a little bit of stuff I've gone and tried to research on him. So I'm really excited because these are the conversations that can go in so many different ways. You learn about people and, there's no preconceived notion of who somebody is or anything. We just get to learn truly how people are because this is a one-take wonder and we're going to have a blast. So Anthony, tell us a little bit about yourself. You go by Anthony or Tony or what do you go by?
I go by Anthony. That's fine. Most people know by Anthony. Some people Tony. Either way, I'm good. Either way, I take it as it comes. Boom. Let's go.
All right. So my man, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Tell us whatever you guys want to tell the audience. Just let them know, and then we will rock and roll. All right.
All right. So I'm Anthony Starks. I'm a husband. I'm a father of three. I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a believer. Believe that that's the way that you need to really hold yourself accountable and live your life. As a career-wise, I'm a business coach. We help people grow their businesses, sales tactics, system processes. So I love helping people scale from 0 to 6 figures and then from 6 figures on up to 7 figures and beyond. And so we have that coaching piece of the business. And if you work with your spouse, that's a different dynamic because you work with your spouse, live with your spouse, parent with your spouse, you build businesses with your spouse. So then we also have that couplepreneur aspect into our business as well. So we do that. And then for those business owners, a lot of times they want to attract and retain quality staff, but they don't have benefits or ways to attract those people. So we have an insurance agency also to help install benefits so that they can attract and retain quality staff.
That's exciting. Man, you hit a topic that we have not talked about yet, so I'm really excited. And that's why when Sandra, she gave a little plug to you on the call I had last week with her, she gave a little plug about your conference you got coming up. I was like, this is cool. This dude is like, he's in with the family dynamics. I'm like, let's talk about this because I tell you what, I started my first agency, I think when I was 19 going on 20, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't married at that time. And then we started our second insurance agency and we've had other businesses and still do other businesses at the same time. But I tell you what, every single time, like my wife and I say that we work together, Beth and I, they look at us like we're stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know how in the world you guys do it. We got 3 kids just like you, like, right? Like they think they would kill each other if they like work with their spouse. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right.
I just wouldn't have it anywhere. It was like a blessing in disguise to create this. Now it took years to get to that point because of, incomes and doing stuff and being young and dumb and all that good stuff and kids and this, that, and another. But I tell you what, like to see, from what I saw, scoping your Facebook page out and just learning a little bit about you, I'm like, dang, these dudes are living it and they are out in front with it because I tell you what, it's scary sometimes, right? It's super scary. So love that aspect. Yeah,
appreciate it. And that's a huge dynamic because just what you're saying, a lot of people run away from it. And what it is, typically confusion comes from a lack of clarity. And a lack of clarity comes from not asking enough questions, right? So now, when you think about it, most people say, well, I don't want to work with my spouse because, again, I live with them and I don't want to take problems from home to the work office or work office from home. But the great thing about it is it's very challenging, but it's very rewarding because you're building an empire with one person. Does that make sense? And so a lot of times you think, just like guys who are not married, they'll think, well, if I get married, I'm having to give up my freedom. I'm having to get up. But what you don't realize is you think you're giving up, but you're actually gaining a lot when you get married because you got one person, you're investing in and you're building and growing versus having your seeds scattered everywhere, right? And that's what you're doing with your business. Instead of having your talents and strengths, one over here in the corporate world, one over here in the business, or 2 separate businesses, what tends to happen is your strengths are divided. So a house divided against itself can't stand, but if you're together creating those strengths, man, the sky's the limit. And for us personally, that has just been wonders for us.
Man, this dude's speaking some loud words, guys. Turn up the volume and get ready because this is gonna be a good one. Just based on that aspect, I freaking love it. Because I mean, you're right. You're right. A divided house is extremely hard. You know, whether
Yeah.
it's in businesses or just in everything in general, right? A divided house is what's going to bring it down at the end of the day. I don't care if it's just you're talking about marriage in general, you're talking about any relationship, kids, family, friendships, all that stuff. Like anytime you have that divided aspect, and now, you know, we specifically here talk about the family dynamic and being married, you're right. Like that is, it will just make it crumble. It will
Yeah.
absolutely make it crumble. And, yeah, I agree with you. Cause I mean, anytime, I mean, I try to put my wife up there and, you know, she says I do a bad job at it and I work at it, you know, something I'm working on internally. Cause I started this and she came in along, you know, so she always to some degree feels secondary to it, but I try to lift her up all the time. And I tell people like, she is my right-hand person in the running of the business. There's no other. And I don't, right hand doesn't mean she's any worse than the left. Like she's just the other side of me. Like she is literally handling all the stuff. Her strengths are back office support and dealing with carriers and all that stuff. And I'm like, babe, you go flourish in that because I want nothing to do with it. I'm going to freaking crank up the volume on the sales. I'm going to lead everything else that you don't want. I'm going to take. And then we come together and then she beats me up that we have 400 emails in our email box. But like, that's all good. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the dynamic, you know, but we work together and we flourish in that aspect. Whereas, you know, I could see a lot of people would just struggle. I mean, it's kind of like taking like this COVID thing that happened and all the work from home positions, right? People did not know how to adjust.
Right.
How do you work from home? Like some people need a 9 to 5 to go in and clock out every single day and be told kind of what to do.
A lot of supervision, direct supervision for most people.
Yes. And you take that away, work from home, there's a struggle. You know, imagine doing it by yourself. There's like an internal struggle because, I mean, how many businesses fail after the first 12 months, 24 months, 3 years and stuff like that because, you know, husband, wife, whoever it is, doesn't know how to run a business in some capacity. They don't know how to run and they don't know how to get themselves up in the morning, right? Like to go and be profitable, you know, and all of a sudden add a dynamic of family. You know, now I got to get my wife up and I've got like, you know what I'm saying? Like now I got a whole nother person. We are all in on this, like all in.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And you said it because y'all's situation is a lot like my wife and I, right? My wife is Rakita Starks. And man, when I say that our business took off once we combined our strengths, and the reason why is because I'm the head, right? She's the heart. So what tends to happen is just like you, man, I could light it up in sales, numbers will go up, breaking sales records, carriers sending us on trips, carriers sending us big bonuses, all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Everything is great. But you know what was missing? The service and support, the experiential part to where ongoing support after the sale is made. How do you make sure your customer has a clear journey, stay connected, and want to stay with you long term? So that's when my wife come in as the heart because it was a revolving door. We were getting a lot of people in, but we were losing a lot of people out the back door. So she helped seal that back door. And then that's when we were able to retain and attract more people because we got a lot more referrals. It wasn't so much cold calling or cold warm and all that. It was a lot of hot leads coming in from those referrals from the ongoing support that my wife would do on the back end that I just wasn't naturally good at. Like I'm naturally good at sales, explaining, all that kind of stuff. But like I said, she steps in, she holds that part of it down. Same thing inside of the office. I can train team members. I can help the staff to do that, get up and going quickly. But the making sure part that a person feels welcome, making sure a person feels loved, making sure a person feels encouraged, making sure all of those little aspects they taken care of, she does that piece of it. And that's very much needed. So it's just like you said, it's not that the right hand is better than the left hand. Because if you're driving a car, I don't care if you are the motor. If you're the motor, but you don't have brakes, you're going to just be driving and you can't stop. You're going to crash this thing. So that husband and wife roles and responsibilities is really what it comes down to. Knowing what's your strengths and then where your spouse's strengths are and letting them run in that situation, right? Because the moment you get in that other lane, you're just going to start causing traffic. You're going to start causing headaches. Don't try to get your spouse to become you because God gave them their own strengths. Let them be them, run in their capacity. That's their department. When she has something that she want to do, whether it's a support-wise, or event-wise, a team member-wise, I just get out of the way. I just step back. Hey, that's your lane. But when it come down to sales or some kind of marketing or something like that, then she understands. She stepped back and she let me do my thing. And that's how we are able to do it, because we're not trying to coexist in each other's space.
Yep. You become that, what is their right hand person, right? Or you flip those roles. And I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of people then miss. So like we can end up perfecting what you talk about, being the right hand or left hand or the head and heart kind of scenario, however it is. But then, that other dynamic that comes in is just let them take it and like, hey, by the way, I'm here if you need anything, right? Like I'm here to support you in all ways. You're making the decision here. This is your baby. This is your thing you're dealing with. I'm here to support because now I know my role. Like I've clearly defined what my role is. Because there's been times, I mean, don't get me wrong, we all mess up. I mean, I ain't perfect. I know I ain't perfect. Everybody messes up in some capacity. We overstep or miss something or forget or try to do too much, or sometimes we think we're doing so much, but we're doing nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's always checks and balances with it. But like you hit on, understanding the defining roles. And I continue to tell my wife on a daily basis, like what she is doing good and what I'm appreciative for. And that's like been one of my goals from spring or summer break. So like a lot of people know this, like on a daily basis for my daughters when they go to school, and will be for my son, I write them what I consider little love notes in their lunch boxes. I put them in their lunchbox every day. I write them one. My daughter kept them starting in kindergarten, so she kept them. I didn't know it. She had like a box of freaking sticky notes of daddy written notes like in there, and I write Bible verses or just, hey, I love you today, or make the world bright, stuff like that. Whatever I is in my heart. A lot of it's Bible stuff because I'm we're biblical and Christian and stuff like that. But like she was keeping them. Well, I realized I was missing something because I wasn't doing that for my wife. Well, come summertime, I stopped doing those because we're not putting the lunch boxes. Well, now we're on the Love Chronicles. Like my Love Chronicles, I send my wife a video every day, like saying, hey, I love you. I'm appreciative for this you did yesterday, or this you got going on, or what you got going on today, or this, that, and another. And it's been received well, you know what I mean? Because we want to support that other person. It's not just, we have so many pieces of the puzzle. You got being a wife or a husband. You've got being a business partner or a business partner, right? Like, one or the other, a friend, a father, a mother, so there's so many pieces of this dynamic, and sometimes you just need to say, thank you.
Yeah.
Good job. You're doing great. You know what I mean? Even though they're your spouse, they know, but imagine if you tell them that when you tell them that, they end up knowing more and they get it more and stuff like that. So that's like my big thing now. Somebody's got my light going on and off. Oh, I'm in trouble. What do you need? I'm doing a What's Up Dad podcast. You know that? Yep. Uh-oh. Oh, well. Fun times. But nonetheless, like, that's been my thing, is like getting to do that. And now we're back on the love notes on a daily basis to my kids, because I want them to understand their strengths and like what I'm trying to bring to the table for them. And then like my wife, like trying to support and help through that stuff. So that's been the big, not struggle, but push. It's been exciting to get up because I don't know when it was. Rob Diedrich, he was like the skateboarder on MTV. I don't know how much you follow. Like, he's a big entrepreneur.
Okay.
Rob Diedrich. Yeah, he did the Fantasy Factory or something and whatnot. And I saw a podcast of him, and he talks about every morning at 5 o'clock he gets up and he writes his wife his to-do list and a note every single day. Now, I mean, this dude's a multi-millionaire. His wife's probably she's either involved in the business or she's dealing with the family, or so I don't know exactly her role because you never see her. But he's like, I let her know exactly what I'm doing of the day. And I thought to myself, yeah, I could do that, and maybe I should do that. And it's been on my table to like make that happen. That's a big task, as my wife knows everything I do. But if I told my wife how appreciative I am, I'm starting with something like a different angle to it.
Right.
And it's an ongoing process. So it is
That's
an
good.
ongoing process. Yeah.
Good.
So, love seeing people filling out the podcast link to join the call. I love this stuff, and I love the simplicity sometimes I get, and then sometimes the not so simplistic aspects of it. And I will, and I know you don't want to talk about this, and I love it, but I just want to put a note. I love your response to it. I don't want to talk about politics because I don't follow it and I add no value. Thank you, Jesus. I freaking love that. Like, those are like music to my ears, because honestly, I'm the same way. I am the same way. Like, I'm not going to bring any value, but frustration. because I'm going to have an opinion without substantiated evidence. So
Exactly.
there's our 2 cents on political
Yeah.
side of things, guys. And now it's over with. And now it's over with. I had to, like, I read that and I'm like, man, I freaking love this. Love this.
As
So,
honest as I can cut, just straight raw. That's it.
Yep. Yep. That was great. That was great. So, looking through this, I know. So tell me a little bit more. You guys have been doing, how long have you been in business together? Like how long has that been going on?
So good question. So we've been in business together since 2016,
Okay.
officially, but actually been unofficially in the business together since 2014. And the reason why I say unofficially is because when my first son was born, she was nursing with little Anthony. And at that point, like, she would be helping with data entry and doing certain stuff like that. But she wasn't just really just in the business, right? She would just be helping because she would see me with all these papers all everywhere, all unorganized. I'm in the kitchen. It's so funny. I used to be in the kitchen. I'm on sales calls. Hey, everybody be quiet. Try to keep the baby quiet. He's like little baby, 3 months old or something. Trying to keep him quiet. He want to eat it. He crying and all that. I'm on the call. So long story short, we end up moving me upstairs to one of the bedrooms because my wife's like, hey, I'm tired of walking on eggshells around here. I'm trying to feed these kids. I'm trying to do all this. And she packed my stuff up, took me upstairs.
That's funny.
Office up there. And so from there, she just said, you know what? I see where you're struggling. I need to come in and help you. So then that's really how we came together, how we started together in the business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Similar. I started my first business in 2010, but my wife didn't come on. She was a social worker, so she didn't come on until we had our first child, Skylar. We wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom. That was like ultimate goal of ours. Like, you're gonna raise our kids. No offense to anybody that sends their kids to daycare. God bless you. And I
just want to instill your values in them. That's the same thing we did. We wanted her to be home and instill our values at that pivotal point at that young age, so you know what our values, not somebody else pouring their values into your kids.
Yep. And so I'll never forget. My wife was studying because she's like, she always wanted to help, so she knew when we when she was gonna be staying at home. So she's like, hey, I'm gonna get my insurance license, and I'm like, you're freaking crazy. You're crazy. Why are you doing this? And she's like, because she had pregnancy brain, like fog brain, like really, really bad. She had really bad pregnancies in general for all our kids. Just they're very hard pregnancies. And she was like, all right, I'm going to study for my insurance license. I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Sure enough, she gets her insurance license. I knew she could do it, but I was just like, you were putting on your plate way too much. You're already dealing with stress and this, that, and another. Did that. 3 months after that, we set to sell our first agency. Set to sell it. So you might imagine going from great income, doing a great life and all that stuff to selling the agency. We go to start fresh. And then from there on out, so 2016 into 2016 on, we've been running business together, and she has been just especially what we're doing today versus, captive one carrier side of things. And today, we represent 50 carriers in 20 states. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't got time for none of that. Like, that is her baby. Like, yeah. I just like, and then throw in three total kids now. And she's just been an absolute rock star to it all. So, I saw you got 3 kids too. So I can only imagine. You talk about first kid. So you've been a very similar path to what we've had. Yeah. I can only see some parallels here that are just so crazy, to think about. I know what you've been through in some way. Let's put it that way. So.
Yeah, and that's good. And see, that's why we do what we do. And just like I said, same mud, same blood. We all understand that. And the reason why we go so hard, we go through those challenges, because early on when you mentioned in the conversation, a lot of people don't want to work with their spouse because of those challenges you run into. But you have to look at the long-term play, right? The Bible says a good man leaves his children inheritance, right? So we think long-term, generational, legacy-wise. What we do in our companies impacts our kids, right? So we want to be able to create a platform for them. And I always say this whenever I'm doing any kind of talks, even to the kids themselves. What my successes are, the ceiling of my success, the pinnacle point, however high I get, I want that to be the floor that they walk on, right? So anytime we on stages, and you can see on our page, we bring our kids up on stage. We want them to see what that feels like to be in front of 2,000 people, to be in front of people all on the internet, you know what I'm saying, who watching live. So we want them to get well groomed in that aspect. And you should just see the things that we dreamed of as kids, they experiencing that now. And
Yeah.
all they talk about is when I get older, this is gonna be my goal. I want to do this, I want to do it. And you just see that fire in their eyes. So the sacrifice of those initial challenges of working with your spouse, and you look at the impact it has on your family and the legacy it create is just like none other. You have to do it if you're serious about really impacting your future generations, because if you don't do it, you don't know when the next person in your downline of like kids in the future, who's going to step up to do it and change the dynamics of your family.
You ain't lying about that. I love that. I love. We don't. We're not on stage or do any of that stuff. I've done a couple things, but the reality of it is nothing to your 2,000 people, you say, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It's crazy, but you're right. Like, I try to involve our kids in every little bit of it. I mean, my kids were on sales calls with me before COVID was a thing, right? Like, I make them understand that they get the time, like, daddy picks up the phone. This is serious right now. Like, you be quiet, you understand, you listen. And it's crazy because my daughter and I, well, it used to be just my daughter to take her to school. Now it's two daughters taking them to school, twice a week. And it's funny because, they understand if, we try to make that our time to go to school, but if the phone rings, they're like, hey, they're going to listen in. They're like ready to understand. And then you get off the phone, Dad, did you sell that? You take care of that?
Yeah.
Dad? You get your business done, Dad? How'd that go today, Dad? Like, those are the conversations we have. And I love it because they're invested and they're starting to see like where that's at. They want to see that, you know what I mean? So definitely invested in that success. And we want to pass something down that's already great.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they can make it even greater. My goals are going to be peanuts in comparison to theirs.
Right. And that's what it's about, man. That's amazing because the kids, I'm telling you, it's not what you tell them, it's what they see. Mm-hmm. And once they see that work ethic, that drive, all of that kind of stuff, it really starts to shape and mold who they're going to be long term. And even just like you said, just certain things that we say in the office and in the other room over there, and you'll be surprised they're on their tablets, but they listening. And they'll come back and say something that you say, you're like, man, where did you get that from? And they'll realize that that was something you said 6 months ago. And it's just so funny. You just like, hey, what's life insurance? And they're just, they talking to each other, not to me or my wife or their mom. It's like they talking to each other. Hey, brother, what's life insurance? And then the other one come over and say, it's buying money now for later. And they're just like, wait a minute, what? Like they understand it at 7, 6, and 4 years old. And it's just crazy to see that.
Love it. Love it. That's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, my kids definitely do. They do stuff like that. We're not as heavy into the life insurance side. So my daughters are playing with cars and like crashing in. Like, oh, you in an accident? And I'm like, oh, somebody's gonna be calling you. I'm like, what you talking about? Somebody's calling you about no accident. These are freaking Matchbox cars. You know what I mean? So it's just funny how like that works, right?
Yeah.
Or we talk about going down the road and they'll see like an accident on the side of the road. Like I don't know, it's super weird. My wife scared my daughter to death one day because she was going down the road and she wasn't being good, and picking her up after school, and there was an accident. So they were just like creeping by, and everybody's taking their time and stuff. She goes, babe, if you're not good in the car, we can get into an accident. She saw that. She goes, we should pray for those people. Every single time she talks about that now. Like that is like set in stone. I'm going to be good in the car. I saw what can happen. She didn't know what happened to those people. Yeah. And now it's like, hey, Dad, we got to pray. Look at this accident. Oh my gosh. Like it's on the side of the road. Like, do they need any help, Daddy? We should stop for them. And this, that, and another. I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah. Like this is good. They starting to see that stuff, and we talk to them like, Daddy, we'd help them with a rental car or help them with this and make sure these people are taken care of. And, we have these like weird conversations because of how we communicate that stuff, and they see Dad and Mom are involved in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
So, and it was funny last night, no joke. Cause we have a lot of farmers that we insure, and we took them last night. We support our local farmers and stuff. And so we went to a local fair. One of our customers has like 1,500 acres here in like Zanesville or west of or east of Columbus. And he called me up. He's like, hey, my son, he's selling a sheep or a lamb. And I'm like, I don't know. What am I going to do with the lamb? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the lamb, but sure. How much? And I had no idea how much a lamb would cost, by the way. It's a lot more than I thought it would be, especially reserve champion. Don't ever get caught in that. Like, make sure you read the fine print, right? So we went out, and it was cool because I told the girls, like, hey, we're buying this for a customer to support their kid. Like, this is what we're doing. So we went out last night, and no joke, bought a 140-pound lamb. Now it was turned, so we didn't get it, and it got sold off like separately and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, you're going to be involved in this because we're going to support the customers. We took the kids out, and the parents that we were supporting like loved it, and they like showed us around, and it was just a great experience again, because like a lot of families would have left their kids at home. We do a lot of the family events. We'll go to like Clippers baseball games, and we'll go to like sporting events and stuff, and have that stuff. No, like most people have stuff at the bar, or like a club, or somewhere where kids aren't allowed, and we're like, nah, we're good. Like it's at Topgolf because we can take our kids. That's as crazy as we get. When we are okay with, but like we're always keeping them involved. Always, if we can take them, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. So
nice. And it's just really just instilling in them that entrepreneurial spirit. You know what I mean? Because growing up, the households my household, all I saw was get up, go to work, 9 to 5, come home, crash on the couch, weekends, live for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? It was just that cycle, not really traveling, not really doing anything. And it was just redundant over and over and over. But when you're a business owner, and especially like I said, when you work with your spouse, you set your own schedule. If you want to work, especially in the insurance industry, I don't have to work from this physical office. A lot of times we out of town, and while wife and kids down at the beach or something, I may do a couple calls, or like with our team, if I'm training them or something like that, they can handle that, and I go right over to the beach. You see what I'm saying? Or same vice versa. If I'm down with the kids and she got some training she doing with some of the HR stuff, or helping people understand their strengths on her coaching side, she's a certified DISC personality assessment, and she a DISC consultant basically. Okay. So she does all that. So she has a coaching class, she do it, and then next thing you know, she's coming right down. We jumping on the beach and we playing. But we made money today. We worked today. We've been with our family. We got them new experiences, and it's just we created our own world and way of living.
Yep. Oh man, I love it. I freaking love it. I was working. We were at Disney back in June. I had to take a business call, and my daughter, other kids would have lost their minds. Other moms and other parents would have lost their minds. And you can see other parents turning their nose up and just snarking at it. And I'm like, nah, like I'm gonna make my money because I know I have to and I need to, and this is a necessity to us. And my kids are gonna have a better time because of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they understand and respect what I'm doing, instead of the flip side. And you talk about like being brought up in like, wanting for the weekends, instead of the flip side of their parents are there blowing all their money. No offense. Not knowing anything, not having a budget, not knowing anything, not camaraderie's not there. Mom and dad are not jiving. They've been arguing all day. Everybody's got $1,000 in souvenirs, and you got the refillable cups that you're going to drink one time, and you're not paying attention to anything. I mean, again, if that's you, that's you. It is what it is. But the reality of it is, like, we work different. Like,
right.
When you work with your spouse, you work different. You understand things differently. Like, you connect differently. And it changes the whole entire ballgame. That's for darn sure.
I will say this. When you're talking, I don't want you to apologize for acknowledging or making people aware. Sometimes people need to get slapped in the face to realize, you know what, man, I don't have a budget. I am living any kind of way. I am. And then they're wondering why their lives are stressed, or they are financial pressure, more month than is their money in their bank account. They don't have over $2,000 in savings, is what the stats say, that most people 55 years old don't have over $2,000 in savings. But they've been living all their lives the way that you're explaining, but nobody's telling them that. So in their minds, it's normal. It's what they see, their friends, their other family. But hearing what you just said should pop somebody in the face and hopefully wake them up to do something different.
It should. We live in this what I do know politically is we do live in this woke aspect of hurting of feelings. It's got to be careful society now. So I try to be careful as best as possible, because I don't want to piss anybody off, and I don't want anybody to think that, I'm negative or don't like them. It's not that case. I have an opinion, and unfortunately that is my opinion. You know what I mean? But you're right. I mean, you're right. You know what I mean? The reason you're broke is because you plan to be broke. I mean, you try to be broke. Like, you're not trying to be rich. What was it? I saw somewhere, it's instead of saving $10,000, make another $10,000.
Right.
There was a statement about it. It is harder for people to save $10,000 than to make another $10,000.
Right.
And we don't get around that. Like I mean, it's very prolific when you think about it. Like we get into the broke mindset, buying all the tchotchkes and doing all that stuff and making kids happy. I'm sorry, like my wife went to the freaking dollar store. Mind you, we can afford to buy them tchotchkes at freaking Disney. Like we can do that. She went to the dollar store and bought everything. We brought it with us.
Yeah.
And she gave our kids the glow in the dark sticks that were $1 because everybody else had glow in the dark sticks. You know, she got the $10 bubble maker that said Mickey on it because that's what we knew they wanted instead of the $50 one. You know what I mean? And it's some people just don't understand it. They don't take the time to do that. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that though has to do with us working closely together, her understanding it. You know, we run a business. She looks at dollars way different. Man, I tell you what, when you run a business, you look at dollars and cents way different when it's a profitable business, that is.
Right.
Than you do when you're not working in a business.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure you can attest to that, right? Like, you know, I'm sure the wife sits there and say, hey, babe, what'd you spend on this on? You know what I mean? Ask you that extra question. You know, you never, you know, otherwise wouldn't have been questioned before.
Right.
You know,
right.
I remember running my first business without her saying stuff because she didn't do it.
That was real key though. There was another golden nugget is you cannot save your way to wealth. You have to produce your way to wealth. And see, when you're in a survival mentality or paycheck to paycheck, survival mode, you know, working class, they don't understand that, hey, every dollar, they're trying to cut back. Let me go call this insurance agency because my rate went up $10. I'm going to call over so I can save $5. But you didn't spend 2 hours on the phone trying to save $5, $10, $20. Well, in that 2 hours, if you would have produced sales, you could have produced an extra 5,000, extra 1,000 or 500.
Exactly.
Versus trying to save a few dollars, you could have produced a lot more money to where you didn't even feel that increase.
I am right there with you, and it's funny, right? So we'll take that to the granular level of the standpoint of the person that's working an hourly wage and is sitting there working an hourly wage is going to say, how am I supposed to make an extra $5,000? Let me break it down a little bit further to you. You're missing the point, Mr. and Mrs. or whoever, kid or whoever is listening to this, because you took 2 hours of your time to do that. You could have worked an extra 2 hours, which would have got you overtime, and you'd have got pay and a half, and you'd got a little extra money. So you don't need the extra $5,000. You could have worked that overtime. That would have put you in the running for the promotion. That would have got you to the next job. That would have got you a pay raise. That could have done more. But instead, you're caught up in all these other pieces and all these other things because you're trying to save. You're just trying to save. Now, if you want to talk about saving, all right, let's cut out your phone bill. Let's cut that down a little bit, right? Let's cut down your Hulu spending and your Amazon spending. That's how you save money. Don't spend money. If you can't afford $5 or $6 a day at Starbucks, you shouldn't be spending $6 a day. That's how you're going to save your money.
But see, overspending, being reckless, and saving are two different things.
Exactly.
Definitely want to be, hey, I'm not going to just go out today and go spend $5,000 eat at a steak restaurant. That would be crazy if I'm not making that type of money, right? You overspending in that point. That's not being a steward over what's been entrusted to you, right? That's poor stewardship, poor management, mismanagement of your resources. And yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. But see, what we highlight is instead of trying to find ways to just cut every little aspect down in your life, is no, don't focus so much on that because your expenses have a floor, but your revenue have no ceiling. You can make as much money as you can, but you can only save so much. It's only so much you can save to where you can cut down to where your mortgage is going to be. Even if you cut it down to zero, it's still zero. Man. Now, at this point, even if you're making 40 grand a year, you're keeping 40 grand. You're still not rich.
Yeah, still $40,000. I don't care how you cut
$40,000. Still $40,000. Even if you get all your expenses to zero and your salary is 40 grand and you're not paying tax, you only make 40 grand.
Yep. I agree.
See,
I agree. No, I agree. I was in the reckless category. The way I look at it is reckless because, I don't know many people. I think I can afford $6 cup of coffee and I still don't buy one, right? Like, I still don't. Yeah. I still think that's reckless. I'm just saying. Every day that is. You know what I mean? Treat yourself. I get it. But let's not be reckless. And I think many people are reckless. Let's just put it that way. So.
Well, see, let me help you with that reckless piece before we move on. I see you want to move on. The way to stop you from being reckless, this is what we had to learn. So I'm not telling you something I heard or something I know, is before you go out and spend that money, you want to attach it to an incentive to where, okay, if we're going to go to Mexico with the family trip, and the kids like, hey, let's go to Mexico. Before we just jump up and we'll just do it, right? We don't have no reason, rationalization, justification. We just did it because we felt like we saw money in the account. Let's just go do it, right? But now what we do, instead of doing that, we say, okay, we're gonna go to Mexico. We need to hit this sales goal. We need to hit this goal first, and then we'll do this. So now, by the time you say we go to Mexico and we spend 10 grand, well, we've already hit a revenue goal of 25 grand. That was extra and beyond what we was already gonna make anyway. So if we want to go to Mexico, hey, we need to all make sure that we doing what we're supposed to do. We need to hit these targets. Now we hit these targets. There's no guilt in going to Mexico. We good.
I love it. And I'm assuming in a lot of ways you instill this in your kids, right? Because your kids are seeing mom and dad hit those goals or going after. Like when we talk about these things to our family, we talk as a family. You know, obviously mom and dad have the conversation, but kids get brought in. Hey, we're going to be doing this, but we've got to do this, right? Like there's a lot coming on because I mean, there's a lot of times I set my kids down at Sunday night, you know, after a long, hard week, and then weekend saying, hey, dad's busy this week, right? Like we got goals, we got things that we're hitting. I'm going to be super busy this week. You're going to have to bear with me. And we set that understanding of it, just like in the same place of setting like a goal or however you're doing that. And we work our team the same way, like our employees and stuff, because I think everybody needs goal driven and needs to know where we're going and how we're going to get there and everything in between. So I love that though. That's good.
Yes,
Very
sir.
Good. Very good. Well, we keep drawing these back to the dad aspect of the call, and this is growing. I love this, you know, because it's not all about being a dad on the What's Up Dad podcast. You know, I hope at the end of the day we can help people in many, many ways, whether it's your faith or your business or your addictions you deal with or just being a father, or maybe you're not a father yet, right? Like, you know, or you went through a divorce. You know, we've talked about so many different things. So I love it because there's so much opportunity out there. I don't think people know. We don't know what our ceiling is. Our ceiling is so much higher than we can be. It's that old Grant Cardone mindset of 10x. It's beyond the 10x, right? Like our ceiling is whatever we can imagine and whatever we set our sights to. I don't care where you're at in your life. I truly do not care where you're at in your life. If you want to get to it, you want to do it, you can, right?
Yeah.
So, very cool. Very cool. So I'm looking through the notes here. This is sometimes where I take a step back and I look at the notes to try to see where we're at, because we got off in a little bit of tangent, but I love it because new topics, new things just make the mind spin. So love what you got. So relax and reduce stress. All right, you're the first person that's ever put sauna on here. Man, I could sit in a sauna all day long.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know about you, but that is the most peaceful time ever, is sitting in a sauna, relax. So I'm glad somebody finally did that, or steam room. You know, I like hot tubs. I got a limit on those, but something about a sauna, man, I could sit in there. I just feel like the mental. It's a game.
Yeah.
Is it hot or not? Right. And what do I get to think about before it beats me and it says, Grayson, it's too hot in here, you need to go? Like, did my phone give out? Yeah, it probably did. Like, is it on fire? Like, is my necklace burning my neck at this point in time? Maybe it is. Okay. So I love that aspect. So, all right, cool.
You gotta, as an entrepreneur, as a parent, we're still talking about the What's Up Dad, as a husband, everything. It's all about understanding your stress levels and managing them. Because as you deal with the different aspects of life, you have to have a release. If not, you're just going to be blowing up all the time. So for me, like you asking that question, or you looking at that question, that sauna time, breaking away to pour into myself, fill my own cup. Now I am better with my kids, because if I'm not managing that stress when they want to play, because when I get home, they don't understand all this. I know you've been working. Hey, let's go throw this football. Let's go wrestle. Let's go do whatever. But if I've already, for myself, gotten that sauna, done all that kind of stuff, I did all that, by the time I get home, I'm refreshed.
Yep. I always tell them. Now, I always try to preface what I say here on this next part very carefully. You are going to fail more often than not. Okay. We all need to understand failing is a part of being better. It's a part of being better. And so when I say that I do this all the time, I fail a lot at it. I try to walk into the house being a dad, right? Now I'm in the basement right now because I'm working from home today instead of my Dublin office or my Zanesville office. So I'm at home today. It's first week of school. This schedule's crazy. Not really sure what's going on. I think it's Friday.
It is.
Anyways, yeah, I think it's Friday. You know, it's crazy, right? So like I'm sitting here, you know, I try to walk into the house or walk upstairs to the kids flushed of, if I'm not doing business and they don't know business is coming, dad time.
Yeah.
Husband time, godly time. Hold on, let me back it up. Godly time, husband time, dad time, right? In
Yeah.
that capacity and order, they want me to, I need to come up being a godly man. I need to come up looking at my wife first, and I need to come up then talking to my kids and letting them know that dad's here ready to rip on and ready to go. And I
Yeah.
do that. And you're right about the sauna aspect, because typically when I go to the gym, for the most part, it's like 5:30 in the morning, get my workout in, do all that stuff. I come back to the house, they're getting up and stuff like that. I come in the house and they're like, "Hey dad, how was," I am ready. I'm ready to all kid time. I've already thought about any work that I needed to think about. I've already flushed all that. We have prepped and we are ready to go. So I love that you say that, because, can't always do it, but that is the goal, is
Yeah.
to 100% be there. And I love that aspect. So
Yeah. That's powerful.
yeah, super cool, super cool. So all right, let me look through this. Anything else you want to talk about? I love this. I'm trying to look. When
Yeah.
you give me short answers, I don't get much to go off of. But I'm gonna dig here. I have a. We're gonna end with something I have, but until then,
Okay.
anything else you wanna share about? Actually, I'd love to hear about your conference. Just give me the 30-second spiel. That's what I told Sandra. You got 30 seconds to give me 3 minutes. All right, what you got?
Okay.
Give me the conference information.
So the upcoming conference, the Power Couples Conference, what is going to be November 10th and 11th. The special days are going to be that, because we're bringing in our 10-year anniversary, right? So instead of doing any kind of vacations and all that kind of stuff, we're going to bring it in with other couples, right? And what we're doing is significant. It's for power couples, couplepreneurs. What we want to do is get them in the room, refresh them relationship-wise, marital-wise. We want to get that on there, right? But then at the same time, we want to also get that business aspect, sales tactics, techniques, growing your business, doubling your income. We want to hit all that kind of stuff. And the reason being is because we understand that major two causes of divorce are normally a money problem or a sexual problem. So those two topics, when I talked about relational marital things, again, that's your intimacy, relationship, all that. We're hitting that, as well as we're hitting the money piece at that conference. So we're hitting on both sides to help you. Once you leave, you have a refreshed mind, refreshed marriage, refreshed business, and you have a roadmap to help you take it to the next level in your marriage and in your business.
Love it. Love it. Hitting on some major topics there. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
When I do post this, guys, and here's the plug for it. I give a plug to everybody, because the reality of it is I want to support everybody. I will make sure that the link to the conference is in there. It's in Dallas, right?
Yes.
In Dallas. So that's where it'll be. Make sure you get in there and get registered for it if it interests you at all.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Dallas, Texas. Dallas.
There
Texas.
we go.
Yeah. So, and when is it again?
It's November 10th and 11th.
10th and 11th. Okay. Is that I don't know. What is that? A Friday, Saturday, Sunday? What we do?
Thursday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Thursday and Friday. All right. Cool. So, but yeah, definitely. When I look at the website, he's got a lot of good stuff on there. So definitely check it out. Make sure you go back and check Anthony's page out and just see that, man. They are doing a lot of really cool stuff as I was flowing through there. Just a family man. I love it. Love the picture up top with your family and all the black suit. I love it.
Yeah.
All that. My wife would never do that with me, so I'm for you to convince her.
You never know.
So,
hey, that's an objection. You got to overcome that objection and get her to say yes.
She wants something else. She wants not the black suit aspect. I feel you on it, but not. Yeah. She's gonna. We're gonna get the pushback on that one. So the looking the same, that is.
Oh no, man! Listen, you got to give them what they want so you can get what you want. See, we talking sales now.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, guys, we're gonna have to do a sidebar. I need a little sales coaching here. So, no, but I love this. No, definitely check out this guy. He's got a ton of really cool stuff and whatnot. So on his page, and just a ton about everything we've talked about. A marriage and business and entrepreneurship and sales and anything in between. Reach out to him. If you're local to Dallas, we've had people that have been local to Dallas in that area that have been on the podcast and actually done that. Make sure you reach out. Have them grab a cup of coffee or something like that. So it'll be really good. So last thing I try to have us end on in some capacity, and this could take as long as you want or as short as you want. Advice. What advice? Now you left. I always start with this because you left advice on here, which is super important. And I love this, but I want you to expand on it. Give me some more meat on the bones here. The man who says that he can or he can't are both right. Love that. So give me some more meat on the bones for that aspect.
Okay, so that's a good one. And the reason why I said it is whatever you tell yourself is what you're going to be. The word tells us that there's power, right,
Yep.
in your tongue, it's either going to breed life or it's going to breed death. So
Yep.
inside of every one of us is a good dog, bad dog. It's the fat version, it's the skinny version. It's the successful person or it's the poor person. It's all of that kind of stuff, right? So when you're approached by a situation or a situation comes to you, whatever you tell yourself, if I say that, hey, I can't do this, I'm not going to do it. If I say I can do it, and I'm going to come up with a solution. I've never done it before, but I'm going to come up with a solution. I can do this. Then I'll have a different outcome. So whoever tells themselves I can't do this or I can do this, both of them are right in either scenario. So for an example, man, I ain't ever sold life insurance before or health insurance before. I can do this. I told myself that. But if I told myself I can't do it, what would I would have done? I would have found every excuse or every reason in the book of why it won't work. Oh, look, I got to buy leads. I don't have money right now. Oh, look, I got to open up an agency. I don't have money right now. Oh, I got to get this E&O insurance. Oh, I don't have money. You said I would have found everything I could under the sun as a reason why not to do it. Versus if I can do it, now I have to focus on looking under the sun. How can I do it? Okay, let me try this. Let me go to this conference. Let me get with this person. Let me go train here. Let me make this call. Let me figure this out. Now I'm getting into the motion of how can I do it?
Yeah. And I mean, he is speaking volumes there when he says that, because I will tell you guys, like, if you've noticed, it's a whole lot easier for him to highlight the excuses or why he cannot, or not he, why someone could not. You can find excuses for days. It is like a snowball effect of excuses or no's or I can'ts that just come and come and come. I mean, they don't stop. They do not stop. But you know what's hard? The I cans. The I cans are the most difficult. And I look at it this way. It is the devil on your shoulder telling you you're not going to make it. You're not going to do it. You can't do it. I tell my daughters this all the time. My son's not old enough to really understand it, but like, can't's not a word in our house. We don't use it. We're not allowed, just like divorce is not. I told this to Sandra the other day. We're not allowed to say the word divorce, and we're not allowed to say the word can't. Okay, you are not. I mean, that's just what it is. If you don't think you can do something, you better give me the reason why you can't do something right now. Your leg must be broken, right? Like you must be sick and not be able to talk. That's why you can't make the phone call to call your grandma or grandpa. That whatever it is, right? So like that's the standpoint we live by, and I love that because I mean it is super hard, and that's what we do in the business world all the time. Business world has dealt with that, and you talk about being a parent and kids learning that stuff. Man, they can do anything.
Yeah,
they can do anything they set their minds to, especially if they have parents that are building an empire behind them.
Right.
So that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So, well, I got a couple. I will leave everybody with in some capacity. I did look up today the 5 P's to helping millennials become entrepreneurs, or the 4 marketing P's. I don't know why they're the P's, but that's what we're going to go with, guys. That's just what we're going to go with. So the 4 marketing P's is you got to find the right product, the right price, the right place, and the right promotion. Okay. As we talk about entrepreneurship and business, if you can handle those things, your marketing will be spot on. I love watching Shark Tank. I love watching with my kids. We watch it every Saturday morning when we eat Chick-fil-A. We eat Chick-fil-A every Saturday morning for breakfast. We watch Shark Tank every Saturday morning. It's because it's always a Friday night show. All right. So we get it on there and we're watching it, and it's so funny. The girls are like, man, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know their numbers. They don't know this. And I'm like, you're 6 years old. How are you supposed to know any of that?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time my daughter was like, Dad, did they get a deal? I'm like, do they look like they got a deal? They're crying. They're walking away.
Yeah.
Heads tucked in their heads. Yeah. So there's that. And then let's see, 5 P's to helping millennials. What was that one? Let me get over here. Persistence. Got to have it. Patience. I think that's probably the most important. Purpose. People, and profits. It's funny. Profits has become one of those words that we talk about, and in the insurance industry, you're probably seeing this now. Coming from captive or coming from wherever you come from, a lot of people talk about numbers, but they talk about it in a person perspective. Like, can I get this many people to sign up this month, or can I get this to do or that, or let's say I want to hit this amount of premium. I don't care if you sell 100,000, 10,000, $1 million. If your profits aren't there on those numbers, it don't matter what you do.
Right.
It just doesn't matter what you do. If your revenue is not tied directly to that, you don't understand what your profit margins are. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Like,
right.
I could sell one item and make 10 grand and keep all 10, and you could sell 100 and only keep $90 of it.
Right.
And who's winning at the end of the day? So,
right.
Love looking at that from that perspective. So, anything else you want to leave with before we hop off here? I really appreciate you being on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just as I close out, it's the difference between cash and profits. Just because you see cash doesn't mean you're profitable. So that's another huge thing that put a lot of small businesses or new entrepreneurs out of business. They see a lot of cash coming in, but it's not profitable. And then before I leave out, I realized I did not give y'all the company name. So on our coaching side, we are Starks Solutions Coaching and Consulting Company. Stark Solutions Coaching and Consulting. And then our insurance agency is Financial Freedom Insurance.
Love it. Love it. I will make sure there's a link when I post this for him
Yeah.
on there so you guys can check him out. You know, I try to, like I said, try to plug everybody. Really appreciate people hopping on here and taking the time to do that. You know, definitely reach out to him if you got questions about the conference or just anything in general. Insurance. I know I own an insurance agency, but you know what? He's in Dallas. If you're in Dallas, do business with him. I mean, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, do business with the people that you want to do business with. And if he's your guy, he's your guy. If not, I'm here. Don't worry. So,
Yeah.
you know, but that's all we got. So again, I really appreciate you being on here, and we're gonna end this. If you guys have not continued to make sure you follow him on Facebook. I'm sure he's got an Instagram somewhere, probably a Twitter. If he's not on the TikTok thingy-mabobber that my wife loves doing, you know, he's going to be on it one day, I'm sure. You know, make sure you're following everybody everywhere. Make sure you share the podcast whenever you're hearing it, and continue to subscribe, because we got some really good ones coming up. So thanks.
Go. Boom.
All right.
Dad, what's up, Dad? Hey, Dad, what's up?